All right, for my favorite total of the week, I'm going with the Titans Texans over 50. I think this line's going to rise. So if you're listening and you see it under 51, I would get in on it if you like to follow my picks or like it yourself, because 51 is obviously a key number here in the totals market. And look, I'm a believer. I'm a converted believer in Tana Thrill, Ryan Tannehill, and this offense right now. It's explosive. Since he's been the starter, it's been one of the best offenses in the NFL. Now, they've benefited from a couple breaks in a couple games. Henry is a little banged up, but he's been the key to this entire offense. Earlier in the year, too, the offensive line wasn't playing great, but they were dealing with some injuries. A couple guys were coming back for some injuries. You had Taylor Lewan, who was suspended. Roger Saffold coming over, who was one of the best guards in the NFL. He's now getting back up. He's getting into speed. He's now getting into this offense. So the offensive line has been much better. Tannehill he's been amazing. There's no other way to put it. He's getting rid of the ball quicker, too, than Mariota was. And so I believe in this offense against the Texans defense. We talk about injuries a lot, and, the Ravens are playing really well, and they're the one seed in the AFC. A lot of that is because they don't have any injuries. The Patriots have had a number of injuries and guys let go. And so losing J.J. Watt on that defense that already lost Clowney, the secondary is in shambles. This is a defense that is last in the NFL in third down conversion percentage. It's just not a good defense. So I think that despite some of their run numbers on defense, which aren't the worst in the world, but that's with Watt in there for a good portion of the season. So I think that Henry's going to have some success. They're going to get pushed on the offense. I mean, this Texans defense is really bad. And then the other side of the ball, you have a Titans defense. I like the front seven of the Titans defense. I've talked about their defensive line multiple times, especially with the addition of Jeffrey Simmons, the rookie out of Mississippi State, coming into the fold as well. And Jarrell Casey and their entire front seven is really solid. So I don't know if the Texans are going to have a ton of success running the ball, but I do think that they can throw the ball against the secondary that's really beat up. It's pretty much, from their starting secondary to start the year, it's pretty much just Logan Ryan left. And if you think Logan Ryan is going to cover DeAndre Hopkins, I'm sorry. It's not happening. You have Fuller. Will Fuller could also come back for the Texans, which would help. But I think that the Texans secondary, I think Ty Smith has been starting. This is a cast-off. I mean, and he has great peripheral numbers in a couple starts. I am not a believer in Ty Smith all of a sudden being an elite corner. So I think Watson will have a big day throwing through the air with his receivers against this secondary, which I think is going to be – I mean, look, you have Adoree Jackson who's been hurt now. LaShawn Sims has been hurt. So I think that the secondary is going to be the biggest question mark for Tennessee going forward. I think this ends up being a shootout. I like the over.
Yeah, and one thing I always like to look for in defenses is how they defend over the middle of the field in pass defense. Because if you look at Football Outsiders DVOA, and DVOA is essentially just defensive value adjusted value over average, which is how much is a play impacting your odds of winning or losing the game. How much is a play kind of improving your chances. And passing plays over the middle are net plus 12.7% more efficient than the league average. Well, when going to the left or the right side, it's negative. So you have to kind of pick your spot. So if you can't defend the middle, that's the mark of a really poor defense. And the Houston Texans are number 32 defending the middle of the field in pass defense, DVOA, which is adjusted for strength of schedule as well. And you look at who's number one, and it's the New England Patriots. And you can kind of see that, we think of the Patriots as, outside corner shutting people down, but it's also being able to run with guys over the middle and make sure that you can't just get easy first downs in your line of sight and stay on your first read and just have a guy running open right across your eyesight. So the Houston Texans have been abysmal at the middle of the field, and I think that plays right into what the Titans want to do. They'll use all their tight ends. They'll use A.J. Brown. I think he's made a really, not just Tannehill, but A.J. Brown has made a huge difference. Tannehill's starts pretty much coincide with Brown going from a guy running about 65% of the routes to a guy running a route on pretty much every down, every pass play now. So he's also made a huge difference and broken out over this latter part of the year. So yeah, I think we'll see some points. Obviously, the Henry situation is one to monitor.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's I mean Tremaine Brock could be starting a corner. I think he started last week. This is an Arizona cast off. Cardinals
Oh,
cast
yeah.
off.
A guy who couldn't, one of those guys who couldn't cover the tight end, like over the middle, and yeah, it was bad.